today brand advertising underlooked because people still want to do this like direct response, like measure the funnel, but nobody.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Jolly SEO's TLDR. I'm your host, Greg Heilers, and Jolly SEO is your provider of earned link building and now Reddit brand mentions as well as full circle back to on-site content. But enough about us. I'm excited. Today our guest is Chris Willow, founder of Wavefront.com, and some of you may have known SPP.co, but Chris, you're going to speak a lot to our listeners here because you used to run an agency, which I'm just finding out as we get the jump on this episode. So thanks for taking the time and sharing all of your knowledge.
Yeah, happy to be here. Yeah, I used to run an agency, which is how like I came into this SaaS thing as well. As I think like pretty much same story as everyone. You kind of run an agency, you see the issues, you want to build something to fix it. I think the unique thing about the agency I was running back then, we were creating like these promotional videos from like literal templates. So it was very cheap and easy. So you pay like a couple $100 and get the result back in 24 hours. So it was kind of streamlined like that. There's no room for any kind of back and forth and stuff like that. So we built like all these custom automations, this form tool, the spreadsheet to put all the orders in, and then realized people were like going back to the form link and filling it twice, and so we had to check if they have actually paid and stuff like that. And so yeah, I built like Service Provider Pro initially for myself, sold it to a few people later, and now it's gotten to be this whole platform that thousands of agencies have used to sell over $500 million in services. And like our whole thing is a productized agency, right? Like you're selling the packages, it's a fixed price, um, and you have SOPs, everything's streamlined. So we serve that. Yeah.
Yeah, so classic solve your own pain point and then became a SaaS founder. We stumbled into SPP a few years ago. We bought a small company and they were on there, and I just remember turning to Morgan and being like, why were we not on here? Like the things didn't work out with that acquisition, but that was the one thing that I loved about it was actually your platform, your company. So when you and I met a few months ago in Chiang Mai, I just remember thinking, oh, awesome, I get to meet you in the flesh. It's a super cool platform.
Yeah, and then you and I, we brainstormed some name ideas and stuff because at that point we had decided that Service Provider Pro, not a great name. We have to rebrand. Um, so I can go into whole reasons why, but essentially we have rebranded now to Wavefront, and this took months, and I've learned a lot about like what makes what makes a good brand versus what we had, you know. Uh, which I think might be helpful to agencies as well. Because as part of the process, we reviewed the agencies that we have as customers, just going through their websites, seeing, okay, what is their like value proposition? What's the name? What's the logo? Can we understand what they're offering? Um, and for productized agencies, for the most part, it's pretty clear. But yeah, in the classic agency world, if they say, "Oh, we're just doing like all these services," and it's like not really clear what it's for, then immediately you're gone. So I think they're
Absolutely.
like, yeah,
Well, we want to dive into this episode. I want to ask you about, because you've got a lot of data, obviously anonymized, aggregated data, but over $500 million of services sold on the platform at this point. So I want to ask you questions, obviously, plus your own experience, what these inflection points, so many people are still interested in like, what does it take to break 1 million in gross, for example. I want to ask you things like managing 10, 20 plus client accounts when people are getting to that point. Um, Even things like talent management. But let's first start with just your most recent experience, this whole branding thing, because we also, when I met you, I was saying we might have to drop the SEO from our name at some
Yeah.
point. I don't know. With GEO taking off, I'm less knee jerk on that right now, but I still am heavy into thinking about exactly what you just mentioned. Is what do people think about us when they hear our brand, and what do they assume we're capable of versus not? So
Yeah.
Service Provider Pro was a mouthful. What does Wavefront do for you that SPP.co didn't? Hey, hope you're enjoying the show. We're going to get right back to it. Real quick, if you're not sure how you're showing up in AI tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and the like, click on that first link in the description. If you fill that out for us, we'll send you your own AI visibility report and see how we can help you boost your results. All right, without further ado, remember that link and enjoy the rest of the show.
I think in like big picture, it unties us from all the from any kind of category associations, because service provider, the connotation is maybe, okay, this is like home services or these kind of services. So the worst thing you can do is to have the wrong category association. To have like you have SEO, you have a category association. It's good. People see your name, they know, oh, it's SEO, very clear. Um, so I think that's fine, but to have the wrong one is the worst, right?
I
But
actually
also,
never
yeah,
thought that about your brand, but I hadn't put enough thought into it, and I can totally see it now that you said it, that
yeah,
people are thinking you're the perfect platform for the pest management
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of companies. I never occurred to me. So, okay, so wrong connotation. Um, in part of that, like decoupling, do you also want to paint yourself into a corner though, and like be part of a specific niche, or that wasn't something you were reaching for here?
So it can work for if there is an established category, but for us, it's kind of, there's the category is like still after all this time is still kind of new, as in the whole productized services, because you have so many different agency tools. You have like 1 billion project management tools, and we're not that, so we wouldn't want to be called like put in the project management kind of
Yeah.
bucket, you know.
No, you're not. Yeah.
Yeah. We worked with a really good SaaS copywriter as well on our positioning and stuff. That was after the name change, but the same kind of idea is, do we want to mention the category or do we want to keep it vague and do problem first? So if you productize, you have these problems, you know, and then we fix these problems. That's kind of our angle now.
Yeah, fascinating. So I'm curious in this experience, because this is a month-long process for you, and everyone listening has created a brand, whether it's just a personal brand or a corporate brand. Uh, when you're just starting the process, and then as you're probably even midway through it, like what are some of the cold feet moments where you're like, this not worth it. There's not the juice is not worth the squeeze here.
Great question. I still have that moment. I think.
Oh no, post launch. Yeah, I can only
No.
imagine. I mean, you're emotionally
Uh,
attached to the old brand
yeah,
too,
for
but
sure.
it's a business thing as well.
For sure, yeah. And especially like given how the AI stuff has sort of disrupted all this agency world. Like, let's be
Yeah.
real, things are changing, and some people are getting crushed, some people are succeeding. So it is very dynamic right now. Um, but so we redirected the website and didn't post any announcements. So also there's some feedback, sent it in app, then sent an email, got some good feedback from that. People were happy. So I was confident, okay, now we can like post on socials and stuff like that. So,
So you left yourself out just in case you didn't like it, or the soft launch didn't go as well as you'd hoped.
yeah, maybe you could say that, but you know, I think like I kept people up to date throughout the processes. Like, this is our decision. Uh, we're considering this. Reply. Let me know what you think. And people replied, and so they sort of felt maybe like a part of the process, which was good. So we used the wisdom of the crowd a little bit. Um, so it's better than like springing a new brand on them like overnight.
I also remember when we met, I found your take on this quite insightful. You were saying this is really about the market that hasn't heard of you yet. And
Yeah,
more so than, not that you disrespect the existing users, but this is more about how will people who have never heard of your company perceive you. And
yeah.
so I guess now you're thinking about taking these next steps. This opens some doors for you you must have imagined. Well, what's the next step now that you feel, all right, we're not going back to as like I
Yeah.
can announce this.
So for the past like couple of years, we've been doing a lot of like sponsoring conferences, creators, like podcasts, stuff like that. And for that, this kind of like brand is very important, so that you hear it and you have some kind of association. If it's just SPP, it's three letters, you'll remember it as SSP, and so all this like advertising budget goes to waste. Yeah. So anyway, I think like today, brand advertising underlooked because people still want to do this like direct response, like measure the funnel, but nobody buys on the first step, right? They get into your funnel, they like research more about you, then they come back a month later, a year later. So it's a long-term process, and for that, branding super important. It's not, especially for agencies, if you're selling more like something that costs potentially thousands. It's not that they will find your ad, click your ad, buy now, and you have a nice little conversion funnel that you can track. It's way more messy in real life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do my best on attribution, and every time a new lead gen vendor or even someone internally is curious about everything, I open it up and I start to get sheepish. I'm like, well, this is what the data says, but just keep in mind, like, what actually happened is very different than what the data says, because this is maybe the sixth time this person interacted with us, but it's the first and last time I have them as having expressed interest.
Hmm.
All the same, I think it's definitely a process we all consider we have to. I know, like you said, I think if you're only focused on performance, that's definitely not where my head's at. Obviously, like doing the podcast, we're not expecting a
Mm.
listener to click now and buy. This is for
Yeah,
other purposes.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you, kind of transitioning from the branding side. You had your own agency, and you mentioned things are a little rocky, and I think that part of that is due to AI's influence on SEO, but also the market's perception of services' value. If I can just get an AI tool to do it myself, why hire someone to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Labor's got a little less leverage. What are you seeing from inside Wavefront, whatever you're allowed to share, in terms of uh, churn data? Like, churn has been such a big focus for us for the last 6 months, really year, of how do we get a grasp on what people perceive as the value that we're delivering? How do we communicate better? Is that going to influence churn? But you see things at a higher level than I do across many companies.
Well, to be completely transparent, we don't have any kind of dashboard where I could pull like the global churn or anything like that from all our users. But just like with the people I've talked to, they've said, yeah, it's rough out there a lot of the times. And I, on some level, I think it's because the sophisticated client, maybe like B2B SaaS, so if you're selling to SaaS companies or kind of like these technical clients, they're very into all this GPT. They will do all the stuff, custom MCPs and skills and try to like replace you. But then people selling to creators and to like these local businesses, they're still going strong. So I don't know. Is it a matter of time where things shift, or do we go full circle where people kind of realized, okay, that like clicking the buttons in Google Ads is not the value. The value is like the strategy or the device or like the experience.
Yeah, I think that's part of managing. And I came at it from a churn angle, but I also wanted to talk about, I think the thing people are more interested in is growing usually. Growing, often you hear to 1 million, or then of course it'd be 8 figures. But I think it's to do that, you have to communicate the value of your services. And a great takeaway from a mastermind I'm in was we're don't hammer how much AI is saving you time and money. Don't even need to talk about that really. People are less interested in that. They're interested in your expertise. So really communicate all of the success you've had for clients and how you're going to bring that same success to the client.
Yeah, anybody who's saying like AI is saving me all this time and money, they are trying to sell you some AI kind of either course or some kind of cloud bot setup or something like that, you know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So what could a what could an agency, or let's even say solopreneur, but they want to have an agency, what could they do? It's early 2026. There's a lot of froth in the market, but what can they do to stand out and and attract clients, even given what you said? Some of them are more technical and able to push buttons themselves, right? And may
Yeah.
judge the value that you're providing.
So I think the like up to 1 million, I think you probably just need like one thing you focused in on. Like this is the one thing. This is what I'm good at. All the content I post, everything about this company or this agency is about this one thing, and then that's how you sort of become known as the go-to person for that one thing. And it like fixes all your positioning issues, all the branding issues, because it's just one thing. It's very clear. Like we do Reddit for whatever, and that's it. And I think for that, I think you can run the agency into 7 figures, and from there branch out into all the other stuff. Because obviously, then you sort of have the benefit as with us as well, where once you have some customers, you will always have unlimited feedback for, okay, I want this, I want that. Can you recommend somebody for this? And this is how you organically grow. Whereas if you say, okay, we have all these services, you pick whatever, there's it's not the spear kind of approach, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, productizing saved at least my interest, I'll say, in running an agency. We tried an agency model about 9 years ago where we were a content agency, but really we were trying to do anything we could, right? We tried a little PPC, we tried a little link building, we tried a little, and then when we found our first thing, we kind of made a name for ourselves in this done for
Yeah.
you Hero service, and like you said, it just simplified everything. There was really only one page that mattered on our site. There was really only one thing to promote. There was really only one thing to talk about: sales calls, one product to price, one type of person to hire to fulfill. Everything
Yeah.
just got so much easier. What about though? Now we're stepping along the journey. It's years later. We have a few things we productize. Is there an inflection point where you think, yeah, you should go full suite? Or would you say, actually, I don't know if it's worth the danger. Like, there's a lot of lurking dangers there. Just stay productized.
Oh, so you're thinking to go from, but like the agencies we work with, they might be productized, but they have like this whole catalog of other productized stuff, and very often it's not even an agency delivering it; they're just
Yes.
selling it. There's some other agency delivering that particular, like maybe PPC management, and they're focused on SEO. They sell it to the customer because the client wants it, but they're not the ones delivering it. So that's another like avenue to go to look into for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Really leaning into your marketing skill set rather than trying to deliver everything in house. I think at
Yeah.
one point, Morgan, my co founder, and I needed needed someone to really communicate to us. The phrase I used that they used is like, is this a hill you're really willing to die on of fulfilling 100% in house? And it was really a pride thing. And I thought that it was what clients ultimately cared about, but as we've all heard a million times, and I just needed to sink in, is they just want the results. They're not
Hmm.
that interested in exactly how you do everything. It,
Yeah. Whether it's AI or another agency or whatever. But I think like ultimately they're buying kind of your taste, your seal of approval, your kind of reputation. Whereas they could go on Fiverr and get all this stuff, But because it's coming from you, you know what you're doing, you kind of vetted it. So that is very where the value is, especially for like really high-end clients. I don't think they buy like a lot of productized services, to be frank. They want the hands-on even more. But even for productized agencies, it's the brand of the agency that is the biggest value add, I guess.
yeah, once you start working with clients where the procurement process is an actual procurement process with legal teams and multiple, and even things like onboarding specialists for vendors, they don't want to run up the bill finding another vendor. If they can just ask you, can you just do this for me?
Uh-huh.
They can get started tomorrow instead of 6 months of vetting. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's something that it's taken me a long time to swallow that pride and say like, oh, they just want my help. They don't actually care if it's me doing it or the next person.
And if you were to like, let's say, be be like, okay, I'm not gonna do this, but I will refer you to this other person, which we have also done for like customization work and templates and stuff. And that other person screws up, and the client has a bad experience. Then now that reflects negatively on you, right? And so you have a lot of downside and no upside in referring that client to somebody else. So you might as well, yeah, help them as like the middleman, I guess.
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't want to name any names, obviously, but we've tried over the years to find people we could refer out our clients to. It's a big leap of faith, and as you said, it's yeah, I wouldn't say no upside, but it's extremely
Yeah.
small. And you're trying to do it in good faith to your client, and you're actually burning them in the process. It's a really it's a hard one to dig yourself out of that hole with a client, and they're sympathetic, but the fact of the matter is you did it, and they were just asking you for help. So
Yeah.
that's tough. What about not clients, but you surely built a team at your agency, but also now you, I'm sure, run a team. For me, running an agency, one of the biggest pain points has been, we could call it HR or talent management, but I've had to here's some pretty harsh feedback about my communication style, and that's not uh, why I'm bringing this up. I'm saying I've burned some interpersonal bridges learning the hard way of how to properly interact with people. What are what's something you've learned along the way that maybe someone either at my level or just building their team could really do better by? Any particular book or resource or just you learn the hard way yourself?
Yeah, I'm not the best person to ask this because we have a small team. But like with the agency, my philosophy was to hire the cheapest way to get the job done, right? Like hire offshore, you just follow the SOP, you get the job done, doesn't matter. Now with the SaaS, it's completely the opposite. I like hire the people where I trust their kind of judgment and their skills or whatever. So I don't like I'm not a great manager. I don't know how to manage people. I'm more like, okay, uh, you do it. You figure out what you want to do. This is kind of my approach, and it works for me. But I imagine it doesn't work for in all cases, right? It's just something I'm not that I'm not a particularly good manager or anything.
Oh, it's a very steep learning curve for a lot of us agency owners.
Yeah.
a lot of us come from freelancers, and then we just manage to get enough business that we can't do it all ourselves anymore. And then now we've
Yeah.
got new skills to learn. I know for myself, the biggest unlock, I've kind of approached this in reverse. I think I'm reading Dan Martell's "Buy Back Your Time" right now, and he says
Hmm.
first one should be an assistant. I didn't do that, but I can say the best investment in the last year has been our operator, Muskan. It's just it's a tough position to operate when you got a team of dozens of people, and I don't want to go back to that position. It's just so hard. You're dealing with problems all the time, and so my hat's
Yeah.
off to her to run that. So that would be my tip, is like, if you're feeling stressed by all the competing needs for your attention, find that person who can sit in that seat and take a step back. And really, it's
Hmm.
ideally a step up to be thinking about things beyond the day to day.
Yeah, for sure. But I think for like proper agencies, uh, this hiring skill set definitely something I admire because like you got to be on it all the time. You know, it's you have maybe churn, employee churn, so you have to be hiring all the time. You have to like make sure everybody's happy, and this is like the other big skill set. I feel like if you know how to do that, you can build any kind of company. Maybe I don't know. That depends on size.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously all dealing with AI, and grappling with, like, does this replace people? But rather than replace people, I think it's just changed recruitment. We're looking for different types of people. We're looking for critical thinkers,
Mm.
early adopters of tech. These kind of they're. I used to not understand the term entrepreneur, but I think I've got a better handle on it now. Just people who are really curious and trying new things.
Yeah. So like this old school way of hiring, you're like almost like a robot. You complete these SOP steps. Maybe that is no longer a thing if you have like SOP steps that AIs can do.
That AIs can do. Yeah, it's a tough balancing act, because then
Yeah.
a real Greg that my team would note, if I see that we've been going off the rails off an SOP, I'll be like, Why are we going off the SOP? Like, what? Like, you got to have a good reason for going off the SOP. Not so much critical thinking, please. Like, just stick to the plan." It's a tough balancing act, but to grow, there's a lot of pain there. Like, you gotta try new things too.
Hmm. Yeah, that's my idea as well right now is at this time of like sort of turmoil, I guess, or uncertainty, you got to try new things, and that's kind of what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, you're trying new things across the entire company with the rebrand.
Yeah.
Chris, we try to keep these pretty short, but I still want to ask my favorite question. Uh, you have a wealth of experience, and I only ask what I know to ask. So, what did I not ask you about that you'd love to share with our audience that we can jam in here in the last couple minutes?
You know, like one secret ingredient, I guess, in a whole of this, and I'm sure you know it, is patience. It just takes a long time for anything. So if you're in the game for long enough, you it'll work out. It'll be great, but you just gotta be patient, and not many people stick with it these days.
I appreciate that. For myself, it's a good reminder to have, because those rainy days just come. You hear and see people's social media posts, and you get DMs on social media. I'm sure you do. I have. Oh, you're crushing it. Like, your brand's crushing it. It's usually a vendor pitching you, but you get people telling you how awesome you are, and then you're like, really? It doesn't really jive with how I feel right now. But over a long enough time horizon, it just compounds. You got to put the time in. I agree.
Yeah.
This was great. I enjoyed meeting you in person. I appreciate you coming on the podcast. Obviously, people need to check out wavefront.com. Chris, where else should they look you up and learn more about the new brand?
You can follow me on LinkedIn. I post some stuff occasionally. It's not AI, it's just me posting because I haven't figured it out yet. But yeah, if you're on a productized agency, check out Wavefront. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks for coming on, Chris, and hope to see you next time.
Thank you, Greg.
Cool, Chris. Thank you so much.